welcome to the South Australian Sports Show. I hope you can stay with us for the next hour. We have plenty coming up on the show. SANFL footy umpire Shane Harris is going to join us. We've got a couple of guys from the Metro Soccer Stars in. Tracy York talking basketball. Gary Wilson talking Simpson Cup. As I welcome Britt and Baz to the show. How are you guys?
Good, mate.
Yeah.
How are you going?
I was just thinking, how many times would have you swum for Australia, Britt?
I was on the team for 7 years consecutively.
So how many events do you reckon over the journey? 100, 200?
I don't know. We'd probably race. We would race 2 major meets a year, like internationally, and then like 20 or 30 meets throughout the year, like a fair bit.
So you caught a couple
probably
of hundred.
Probably not as much as like.
A couple of hundred times you would have represented Australia in the pool. So between the three of us, we're about 500 or 600 represent.
Yeah.
Baz, for you, mate, how many times?
Sorry?
You're in the group. 200. We'll divide ours up and you can have 200, mate.
Okay, I'm happy with that. Yeah,
Redbacks, how many games for the Redbacks you play, mate?
Oh, hell, mate, I wouldn't have a clue.
100? 200?
No, I wouldn't have a clue. No, it wouldn't have been that many. We didn't play that many.
Enough to get a shield, though.
We didn't play that many back then.
Win a shield?
Won a shield.
Won a shield. So it doesn't matter so many times.
1975, 6, I think it was, or 6, 7.
Can't remember.
Can't you remember, Brett? Weren't you there?
Britt wasn't alive. Okay. So there's the good news is that we're prepared to share. The good news is we're prepared to share.
Everything.
All right, okay, let's talk about the good news that's happened so far for us. Adelaide United, of course, 3-1 win over Central Coast Mariners was absolutely fantastic.
Brilliant.
So Melbourne City semi-final coming up for them.
Yeah.
Get over that, into the grand final.
Yeah.
Good.
So it's exciting. Exciting for soccer, and we're going to have a chat with a couple of lads later, see how that's impacted on them. South Australia, of course, and Western Australia played in the state footy on the weekend. 4-point win for the boys over in Perth at Optus Stadium. Spoke to a couple of the coaches. They had a really good break on them, and they were getting comfortable, and then WA surged back at them, and they were able to hold on for a 4-point
Pretty
win.
good coaching by our bloke,
Jade.
Yeah, pretty good coaching, the way they played Optus.
It's a big ground.
Yeah, the Saka boys did it. Well, Saka boys, the SANFL boys did it pretty well. But really, it was Sheedy's game plan and whatever that held WA back early in that game. So good. Do you
miss State of Origin? Do you because you would have grown up in it, sort of
badly. I miss it badly.
Britt, do you as a younger?
I mean, I never followed rugby, but it's the only rugby games
that you
I would have
So
followed.
South Australia Victorian footy.
I only learnt of the rivalry once I moved down here. Yeah. So, and gosh, does SA hate Victoria? And I guess I didn't know why.
No, well, you grew up in the Queensland, New South Wales hatred.
Yes, So I guess I relate to that very much so. It's just an unspoken, I mean, you like them, like personally, like human to human, but when you're up against it, he'll do anything to get the win.
Phil, you're a good news man.
Yep.
And we've been saying that we're going to deliver.
Stay with good news.
Stay with the good news.
Oh, you brought something to the table.
Well, I have today because we've been talking about Liz Cambage, and her name got mentioned again today.
Yep.
Stop it. No more Liz.
Right.
Gone. That's bad news.
That's the good news. So done.
Yeah.
Right.
Sam Kerr.
Yes, good news.
Sam Kerr.
Sensational Sam.
Mate, she's just won 2 games for Chelsea.
Yep.
An FA Cup and the League, Super League Cup over there.
Yep.
The Super League Cup, they beat Manchester United thanks to Sam. If you haven't seen the goal,
Go and have a look.
Get on it.
It's a
because
beauty.
it's world class.
Yep.
The winner, it was 2-2, bang, winner.
Sam.
She did the same thing in the FA Cup against Manchester City.
Yep.
2-2, bang. Sam
She's
Kerr again.
the best female soccer player in the world.
No, without a shadow of a doubt. Without a shadow of a doubt.
And
Well,
she's
no. There are some good ones as well out there.
I'm giving it to her.
I'm with you. Look, I couldn't agree more. She's a great story, Sam Kerr. She's a great story. But so is the other girl that in the golf, Minjee Lee.
Minjee Lee.
There's another one.
Yep.
She's got the brother who plays on the US tour as well in Min Woo. And Minjee, I watched Minjee on the weekend. And she was fabulous. Because
Could you take her, mate? Could you beat her on the course?
No, she would tear me a new one.
Absolutely not.
She would tear me a new one. She is a fantastic player. And she held at bay a girl called Lexi Thompson, who is world class, absolute world class player. But I think Minjee held the lead after 54 holes and kept it right through. Just kept it right through. So, after 36 holes, she was in front. So she nearly went wire to wire. But that's her 7th win on the LPGA Tour. That is a real feat. That's massive.
Right. Well, we're talking about then. Ange Postecoglou, we want to mention him as well with the Celtics, mate. So that was a good one. We'll come back to Mitch Marsh at the end of the show because I want to have a quick chat about what he's done in the last couple of days. But we need to get over to Millie for the news. Millie, what have you got for us?
Thanks, Phil. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to what has been an emotional week in sport. Starting with the heartbreaking news of the death of Australian cricket legend Andrew Symonds. The former Australian cricketer passed away last Saturday night after his car veered off the road and rolled just outside of Townsville in northern Queensland. Neighbours and emergency service workers attempted to revive him, but he sadly died at the scene. Symonds, who was known for his clean ball striking ability, shrewd spin bowling and brilliant fielding, played 26 tests for Australia and won 2 Cricket World Cups. His death adds to the tragedy of the 2022 season for Australian cricket, with the deaths of Rod Marsh and Shane Warne earlier this year. An outpour of tributes has been flowing over last week, with many showing their love and support for the Symonds family, especially his wife and 2 children. I can speak on behalf of everyone here at the SA Sports Show that our hearts do go out to his family and those affected by this tragic loss. Congratulations are in order to Adelaide's very own Annabelle Dennis, who was selected to represent the Australian Gliders wheelchair basketball team for the upcoming Asia-Oceania Championships. Annabelle was diagnosed with complex regional pain syndrome in 2012, a pain syndrome caused by nerve damage that prevents the pain receptors in the brain to turn off. But instead of letting this pain defeat her, she has channeled it into a sporting career, which has led her to represent Australia in Thailand this weekend. The Gliders will compete against Japan, Iran and host Thailand, while the men's division will be split into 2 divisions, with the rollers set to take on Iran, Japan and Malaysia and Korea and Thailand. The Gliders coach Craig Campbell has high hopes that Australia will take home this World Championship title, with many Paralympians being a part of the Australian side this year. Annabelle is the only South Australian to represent both the female and male teams, so we wish her the best of luck tomorrow night against Iran. The AOC Championship begins tonight and concludes on the 28th of May. Australian golf champion Minjee Lee collected her 7th LPGA title last weekend by making 3 birdies on the back 9 to beat US powerhouse Lexi Thompson by 2 shots in New Jersey. The world number 5, who had 3 top 5 finishes in her previous 7 starts, said she had been holding up for a win, and now that her form is peaking, she is feeling ready for the US Open, which is just weeks away. The 25-year-old closed the tournament with a 72-hole total of 19 under 269. To AFL now, where there was an absolute power surge at Blundstone Arena last Saturday night when Port Adelaide dominated North Melbourne in a 69-point win. The Power has climbed to 10th spot on the ladder in a remarkable turnaround after their 0 wins in 5-game start to the season. Port came out fighting with a 6-goal opening lead to then follow a 7-goal quarter in the last term. 2021 Brownlow medalist Ollie Wines was to thank for Port's impressive display of football, earning himself 32 disposals and kicking 2 goals for the game. Port's forwards Mitch Georgiadis and Todd Marshall earned themselves 3 goals apiece, with Todd Marshall now being the club's highest goal kicker for the 2022 season this far. North Melbourne suffered their 7th straight loss for the season, with another tough clash ahead this week, where they will face the Demons at Marvel Stadium. Port sealed the deal for round 9 with a final score of 115-46. Well, we can't say the same for the Adelaide Crows, as it's been a horror fortnight for them as they fell short with a 36-point loss to Brisbane Lions last Saturday night. The Lions claimed their 8th win in 9 matches, the club's best start since their Fitzroy days back in 1948. The game was looking promising for the Crows as they scored 26 points in that second quarter. However, the Lions responded with an 8 unanswered goal quarter, only to close off any chance of redemption for the Crows. Ex-Crows player Charlie Cameron gave Adelaide Oval a show, kicking 4 goals for the game, adding a little bit of salt to the very fresh wound for Crows supporters. The Crows now sit 14th on the AFL ladder and will come up against the Saints this weekend. Let's hope another home game advantage can help the Crows take home a very needed win. Brisbane took home the game with a final score of 102-66. That is all the news I have for you this week. I am Millie Walters and we'll be right back for more on the SA Sports Show.